Order! Order! Shoku arunuka? Where's your evidence? You can't possibly have any, can you? Ha 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 ha! I can just imagine, yeah, witness stand, like real life. Ha 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 ha! Do you have any evidence? That's what I'm gonna do. If I'm ever called to testify in court, I'll make sure that I laugh like that and say, "Where is your evidence?" Evidence? Oh, I have evidence for you. In fact, I have an eyewitness testimony for you. You do? But how? Was my vaunted sense of justice really just half-baked? It's taking this really hard. Mr. Justice, what is this testimony regarding a third party that you claim to have? I have it right here, Your Honor. It's the sworn testimony of Mr. Tenma's daughter. The witness, Jinxie Tenma, saw a yokai in the hallway after stumbling onto the scene. It was the demon Tenma Taro. He's the source of those feathers and tracks. Will somebody please say something? The defense will explain to the court exactly what he means. You dare to mock this court and justice itself? You're unfit to bear your name, boy. You hope it's caught on tape, huh? Your baldness. It appears our defense attorney here is delirious from exhaustion. Apollo, think of something quick before you're held in contempt of court. What do you think I'm trying to do? Before you decide whether I should step down, please, hear me out. Very well, Mr. Justice, I'm all ears, but you had better explain yourself well. What was this yokai you were talking about? It's all in this statement here. Jinxie Tenma asserts that she saw Tenma Taro. After she discovered the crime scene and called the police, she came around a corner in the hall. It was around here. Who saves scums? I don't need to save scum. I get all... Look at how much energy I have. You can't see it on this screen. Also, we discovered during the first case that you don't actually have to save scum at all, because if you run out of life, they just refill your life and put you back at the same question. Which is fine. I mean, it's fine. It's not really like it's necessary to go, hey, if you get a question wrong and you haven't saved in a while, then you need to redo the entire case again. And that she saw Tenma Taro fleeing towards the foyer. The defense asserts that whoever was impersonating this monster is the one who left those feathers and tracks behind, intentionally or otherwise. What? How incredibly unjust! Why haven't I heard about this before? The defense just proved that someone else was there. So the mayor isn't the killer? Was it all a setup? The prosecutor is a convicted felon after all. Apollo, the momentum has shifted in our favor. Last time you asked, I probably thought that you could lose the... I mean, you get a game over. It goes like, game over, guilty. And then you just say, try again, and the doors open and you walk back in. Objection! Little do you realize that though you are in the midst of a fray, your sword is broken. My sword? I didn't know I had one to break. Are you implying that there's a problem with my claim? Consider this. If that yokai impersonator had indeed fled towards the foyer, that fool and that fop would have seen him. Fool and fop? Oh, you mean Filch and LaBelle. Now that you mention it. Both Phineas Filch and Florent LaBelle were in the foyer at the time. Yeah, he pokes his eye out. But they haven't stated they saw a yokai, have they? Did you ever consider that that yokai was but a figment of a scared little girl's imagination? Arg. Why didn't those two see the Tenmataro impersonator pass by? Why don't we ask them ourselves? I was just about to say that myself. No, really, I was. The defense would like to call Mr. Phineas Filch, caretaker of the QB Manor, to the stand. I know he must have seen something. I suppose we can't ignore the fact that the little girl believes she saw a monster. I trust you have no objections to Mr. Justice's request, Prosecutor Blackwell. I understand that Mr. Filch is enjoying a nap out in the lobby. He's gonna steal the judge's gavel, calling it. I knew that Tanuki was a rare find, but when we captured him, I didn't think he'd end up a witness. Do with him as you will. Did he just say captured? No, wait, I don't want to know. Very well then. Bailiff, please go wake up Mr. Filch and escort him to the witness stand. Will the witness state his name and occupation, please? The name's Filch, Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor. Oh, and this is for you, your lordship. Just a little something I thought you might like. Oh my, what a fabulous pair of shoes. And your honor will do just fine, Mr. Filch. Ah, it's those shoes again. Don't they belong to Detective Fulbright? Don't tell me Filch stole them again. They're all yours, your honorship, sir. What? But they seem awfully expensive. Yep, too expensive for me, but I reckon they'd be perfect for someone like your honorship. It's a kind gesture, but legal ethics... Wow! There's legal ethics in this world? I was going to point out... Like, it's pretty minor compared to the other, travesties of justice that go on in these games, but for a witness to say, like, Judge, here is a present. Especially when he's the one, it's not like there's a jury, like, he's going to decide the case. That would be improper. Like the lunch lady who gives him like 10 lunches. I can't accept such gifts. Oh, ethics schmethics. Just take them if you want them. Polished them up real nice for you, too. I'm sorry about the shoes, Mr. Filch, but I will accept your testimony. The court would like to hear whether you saw Tenmataro in the foyer after the murder. It's just a code word for I don't like your gift. At the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. Cuby asked. No, he says foyer. In the foyer. I was making sure no one, fair, foul, fishy, or otherwise, could get to our guest. I was still in my office keeping a good watch when the murder happened after 3 p.m. But I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary. Sorry. We're gonna bracelet him, aren't we? I saw him. That yokai you keep jabbering on about was but a phantom of a little girl's dreams. So you're telling this court you never saw anyone dressed up like Tenmataro? Yeah, I was guarding the whole time. That's the truth, the holy truth, nut or butter the truth. And Tenmataro, you don't really believe in all that yokai mumbo-jumbo, do you? The real-life Hitana accent. Yes, all this time I was not actually from New York. I am from... Gosh, I don't even know what this accent is supposed to be. I certainly don't. There it is. My bracelet. Something the matter, Apollo? My bracelet keeps squeezing my arm. Really? So, you think Mr. Filch has been lying to us? I wouldn't rule it out. Now, if I could just zero in on a tell, some sort of nervous habit. What? What's a hawk doing in here? Hatoful boyfriend again! Here I thought that all games were Metal Gear Solid. In reality, all games are Hatoful boyfriend. We were attacked by a hawk. Allow me to introduce my trusty cohort, Taka. He seems to have taken quite a liking to the courthouse. Made it his new home, in fact. Yes, the hawk also is wearing, yes, a prison bib. He doesn't live with you, you know, in jail? Who's ever heard of a courthouse bird? No birds allowed in court, okay? This is a serious trial. Taka simply loathes trickery and fraud. And that queer power of yours seems to have offended my dear bosom buzzard. This isn't some sort of trick or... Ah! I won't be able to spot squat like this. What the heck's going on around here? Run for the hills! A jailbird. No pets or other animals allowed in the courtroom. Kia! Ack! Somebody help! Oh, he's merely having a bit of sport. He won't harm you, save when truly famished. In that case, Prosecutor Blackwell, you will ensure your feathered friend is properly fed. Looks like we have to do this the old-fashioned way. Is it old-fashioned to cross-examine people without a hawk interfering with your magic bracelet seeing powers? We'll be fine, I think. If there was someone dressed as Tenmataro there, Filch should have seen him. We'll just have to put our faith in Jinxie's statement for now. Mr. Justice, please proceed with your cross-examination. I thought they were going to have the bird, like, actually flying around in front of us as we're... Well, maybe that will happen later. As we're trying to spot the thing, like, to make it more difficult. Alright. So we have her sworn statement here. I'm not really sure where they want us to present it, so we'll press first. Hold it! Mr. Filch, why did Alderman Cubey have you handle guard duty? Because he trusts me. I am the manor's caretaker after all. So you took said guard duty seriously? Let me tell you something about me. Yipes! Listen here, you little tanuki. Get straight to the point and be quick about it. The court wishes to hear what you did or didn't see in the foyer, and naught else. Yes, of course, sir. Right away, sir. Blackwell's got him completely under his thumb. Oh, we're gonna use the pro wrestling thing to say that he would... In fact, that's why they said 3 p.m. I was guarding the foyer entrance that day. We can go straight to there. Right? 3 p.m. exactly. Hold it! Did you really... There's that Phoenix Wright metagame. If you press and they say, are you sure? Or did you really? That automatically means this is the right one. Because you can present without pressing first, most of the time anyway. So you don't learn anything new by pressing. He just says, let me make sure that you really said what you just said. Did you really keep an eye on the foyer the entire time? Poor old Filchy. Been working hard my whole life, only to be smeared by some greenhorn in his fancy schmancy suit and silly haircut. Sorry, Mr. Blackwell. Didn't mean to get off subject there. Sheesh. Blackwell didn't even say anything. To answer your question, yes, I kept an eye. No, both of them, in fact, on the foyer. Both eyes, you say? Both eyes, you say?
Objection!
Objection. Cool. I will check that out after, whatever that link is. Don't lie to the court like that, Mr. Filch. Hey, you ain't right to bushwhack a fellow like that. Unfortunately for you, I have evidence that proves you're lying. If you look at this TV listing here, you'll see that at the time of the crime, there was a pro wrestling match scheduled, something you'd never miss. Ack! I didn't watch that one, no siree. I was just doing my job, like I was supposed to. We have whimsical music now. This guy doesn't know when to give up. Mr. Filch, someone even circled the match. It was you, right? Yes! Not only that, you even told me you watched it. You said, and I quote, it was a complete disaster. Herg! The best hawk. So, do you admit to slacking off? You can't trick me with your Rudy Poo lawyer talk. Rudy Poo. I'm one of them for professional types, too. I can double duty, watching TV and the foyer at the same time. The only thing Filch can claim to be a professional of is professional thief. Mr. Justice, you would have this court believe the witness was slacking off? That's correct. He claims to have been watching TV and the foyer at the same time, but that's nothing but a bald-faced lie. Bald, you say? But I'm not the one who's lying. Isn't it bold-faced? Isn't it? I thought it was bold-faced. Like, as in bold typeface. Like a font. Like the bold font. Interesting. It could be bald. But I'm not the one who's lying. Perhaps you meant the witness, Mr. Justice. And in that case, let's see what evidence you can offer. You claim Mr. Filch is lying about watching TV and the foyer simultaneously. Now, prove it. They got an old-fashioned type TV. They got an old CRT. He doesn't have a flat screen. Therefore, he's guilty. He's the murderer.
Take that!
Ha! It is bold-faced. Good. Please take a look at the direction the TV is facing in this diagram. Now, unless Mr. Filch has eyes where his right ear should be, I'd think it would be impossible to watch the foyer entrance and the TV at the same time. Why, yes. Someone watching TV there couldn't possibly see the entrance. Exactly, and that means, Mr. Filch, you were slacking off and not watching the foyer as you claim. Yaps! The bag's out of the cat. Or, I mean, the other way around. He's got a patch on his clothes. Order, order, order! But, Mr. Justice, is Filch's less than stellar work ethic relevant to this case? It's very relevant because while he was slacking off watching TV, there really could have been a Tenmataro impersonator in the foyer.
Objection!
What now? Granted, this Tanuki was lax in his duties, but he still had the foyer entrance covered. What are you talking about? This. I'm not a mind reader. Ack! Auditory sense. His eyes may have been slacking off, but his ears were still hard at work. Right, Tanuki? They were? I mean, yes. Yes, they were. Further investigation reveals that I am wrong. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe further investigation will prove me back right again. But you already admitted to slacking off. Now you say you weren't? My eyes might be lazy, but my ears ain't. That would have hurt anyone in the foyer. You see, the foyer floor and the stairway get all creaky squeaky when someone walks on them. Creak, creak, creak. Loud enough to wake the dead, I reckon. So you're saying you didn't hear anybody walk by? Yep, my ears were working full time. So who's the liar now, you no good shyster? A lying thief calling me a shyster. This has to be the low point of my fledgling career. Gotta hand it to you, Mr. Blackwell, sir. You really are something else. I mean, you don't miss a thing. And them bags under your eyes, they're darker than mine. Fair warning, Mr. Filch. Taka is particularly fond of Tanuki. Should you lie to this court again, you may suddenly find yourself on the menu. Yikes! Please don't eat me, Mr. Taka, sir. The witness will henceforth testify truthfully under penalty of painful bird attacks. This is even better than the whip. Bold-faced seems to be acceptable too after being, but bald-faced was the original. I see. And with that in mind, the court requests that the witness revise his testimony accordingly. English is horrible. I agree. We should only play Japanese games from now on. It's true, I was watching a professional wrestling match on office TV. My eyes might have been slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime. The floor there's all creaky squeaky like. No way I would have missed someone walking by. So you see, there weren't no Tenmataro in the foyer. Superstition is the religion of feeble minds. Understand? A simple, rational explanation is best. Forget yokai, demons, and such. We must use common sense, for lacking that, our entire world would be but upside down. Says a convict prosecutor who is totally assigned of the end times for the legal world. And besides, if there were any yokai roaming about, I'd nab them and sell them to the zoo. I wonder whether Jinxie was just seeing things. That seems to be the general consensus, but I'm sticking to my guns. But if we can't prove she saw Tenmataro too, the mayor's sure to be convicted. Then we better hope my guns fire bullets. Truth bullets! The defense may cross-examine the witness. I only just noticed his tiny little bit of facial hair that makes him look even more raccoon or Tanuki-like. Hold it! You are paid for your work, aren't you? So how do you justify watching TV on the job? Arg! But it ain't easy being me. I mean, I can't watch TV when we have visitors, and there's no way to what? There's no way to record stuff, but you have a surveillance camera. Am I supposed to be consoling you over your first world problems? If those are his only problems, he should consider himself lucky. I guess pro wrestling's serious business to Mr. Filch. Why do you think we don't have a way of recording things? Weird. Hold it! You lied earlier about taking your guard duty seriously, didn't you? No, that. Ain't no harm in bending the truth a little, right? Listen to me, you little Tanuki. Lie again, and Taka shall feast upon that forked tongue of yours. Kyaw! I'm sorry. Just let me keep my tongue. At least leave it until we get the truth out of him in any case. You were negligent in your duties, were you not? Yes, sir. I was, sir, but it ain't like that. Hold it! So you have pretty good ears, Mr. Filch? As good as they come, I'd say. Ain't nothing to hear a squeaky floor. Plus, that Tenmataro makes a sound when he goes by. It's like a jingle jangle. Jingle jangle. How does he do that? It's that staff of his. Well, that's what jingle jangles. That's where we're gonna get him. What's he talking about, Apollo? Beats me, but I guess Tenmataro has a staff that makes noise. Come to think of it, didn't Jinxie mention something like that too? She said she saw Tenmataro holding a staff-like object that made a jangly sound. I guess that's the source of the noise then. Well, Mr. Justice, Mr. Filch says Tenmataro jingle jangles. Would you consider that vital information? Very important. Extremely vital. I request that it be added to his testimony. If Tenmataro was to pass by, his staff would have gone jingle jangle. We'll press. Hold it! Are you sure? So, Tenmataro's staff makes a distinctive sound. Yep, like a jingle and a jangle. Wait, Jinxie said something like that. Something makes... Yes, we already... I think we're missing something here, but I can't quite put a finger on it. Perhaps I should take a look at the court record again. Poke yourself in the eye there. There ain't no jingle jangle on him. That's the only picture we have of him, right?
Objection!
Tenmataro's staff would make a jangly sound, you say? Well, I'm going to say that your story doesn't add up. Is there something the defense would like to share with the court? Mr. Filch, you say that you didn't see Tenmataro on the day of the incident. Why then, why did you assume, just now, that Tenmataro would be holding a staff? Huh? You see, the Tenmataro Jinxie saw held a staff in his hands, and she described its sound just like you did, as a kind of jangly sound. Yeah, so he was holding a staff. What's your point?
Objection!
The point is that Tenmataro doesn't use a staff, not normally. What are you talking about? You see, this is the only known document depicting Tenmataro. Is there a staff in that picture, Mr. Filch? You're right. There's no staff, not even a cane or a walking stick. Back! So the question is, why does the witness think Tenmataro uses a staff? I believe the answer will overturn the prosecution's case on the most basic level. Dots. Well now, this is getting interesting. All right, Mr. Justice, it's time to show the court where you're going with this. Please, tell the court why Mr. Filch believes Tenmataro carries a staff. The scroll is wrong. Filch is a scatterbrain. He actually did see Tenmataro. Mr. Filch actually saw Tenmataro right after the crime occurred. That's the only way he could possibly know about the staff. Busted again! Bloody hell, you duplicitous little... Yes, how'd that feel, Blackwell? Not so fun when you're on the receiving end of the blade, is it? I'm doing it all wrong, though. I should be focusing the bird first. Take down the bird ad, and then we can kill him later. Admit it, Mr. Filch, you did see Tenmataro that day, didn't you? Well, I'm begging you, please, don't make me say it. But clearly, you did see Tenmataro. Stop stalling and testify to that fact. No can do, no way, no how. I got no idea how terrifying he can be. He? Anohito? Mr. Filch still won't admit to seeing Tenmataro, even though everyone knows he did. The question now is, why? Mr. Filch is scared to death. Is that why he can't admit the truth? Indecisive. Should make a go for the eyes valor joke, or claim that Apollo just used Glanor's blue sword. I'll just do both. They say you must not gaze upon Tenmataro, but in the event that you do look, and then tell anyone what you saw, Tenmataro will claim your soul. Jinxie wouldn't admit to seeing Tenmataro after hearing the village superstitions. She said that if she told anyone that she had seen Tenmataro, he'd claim her soul. Wait, you think Filch believes that too? Ah, so Mr. Big Time City Slicker Lawyer has heard about him? Them old village superstitions? Will the defense please explain what the witness is talking about? The people of Ninetails Vale believe some pretty strange things. Wow, rude, culturally insensitive, and their superstitions may be the reason our witness here can't admit the truth. The truth that he really did see Tenmataro. Darn straight, that's why. It's all right here. Village superstitions. Do not gaze upon Tenmataro. Do not tell others if you see him. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul. There is, however, one way to save it. Your immediate departure from the village. Freeing him will bring ruin upon the village. See? That's why us folks in Ninetails Vale can't talk about seeing Tenmataro. That clears up one mystery. The killer took advantage of the superstitions by wearing a Tenmataro costume. They knew that way no one could talk about him, so it was as if he never existed. The defense holds that this Tenmataro impersonator is the true killer. What? Do-do-do-do. Oh, there's a little Nikon on the box. Superstitions, you say? What kind of a fool would actually believe such rubbish? Oh, okay. And would that using some silly fairy tale so easily expose the culprit? No. And what kind of a fool would actually believe such rubbish? And would that using some silly fairy tale so easy... That's odd wording. I will accept it. You'll need to come up with a more rational, common-sense explanation than that. No, this is a Phoenix Wright game. The truth is absurd. Your common sense seems awfully narrow-minded to me, Prosecutor Blackwell. Try living in my world of narrow cells, mortal danger, and dark, sleepless nights. There is no lack of superstitions in the clink, but few are those who truly believe in them.
Objection!
Well, the village superstitions are real enough to the people of Ninetails Vale. A life or death superstition might even make you a believer. Grr! Roar! Like we've seen that angle in other games where they go out to like the court and you see the witness from behind and you see the prosecution and the defense. But it's nice that A, it's rotating, and B, it's actually him in whatever stance he was in, so you see him pointing. So order, I say. You fool of a toque. 2 times now your lies have cost me. Sorry, I promise not to do it again. Taka, my fine feathered friend, have at him! Yes, he's gonna eat me alive! Head for the hills! Ah, he took off. Bailiff, what are you waiting for? After him, and with your fastest men. That's certainly not something you see every day. Well, it would seem a new and important fact has come to light. A third party, disguised as the yokai Tenmataro, was at the scene. Now we have 2 witnesses who can attest to that fact. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell? He broke out! He's free! What? Ah! His shackles. He does have a weapon! Justice Dono. Nanen mai. How long has it been since I've been forced to draw my blade? You had best say your prayers. Where did he get another feather from? He just sliced that one in half, the one that was in his mouth. Eek! I guess, yeah. Does he have the... He's just gonna keep slicing them in half and taking new feathers from the bird, like Godot, getting a new cup of coffee every 10 seconds. Detective, do something! Ha ha ha! Have no fear, Fulbright is here. When the going gets tough, the champion of justice gets going.
Objection!
Why did I object to that? Then get going already before he kills us. Oh, but I stand in awe of Simon Blackquill, for it is his sense of justice that set him free. Objection, objection! The judge is objecting. I object to Detective Fulbright's definition of justice.
Silence.
He has silence powers, huh? I'm not in the habit of cutting down unarmed cowards. Savine, hello! You're here just in time to see the sword fight. We're going to... It's... What did they call that? The something showdown in Danganronpa 2? When you had the truth sword? Whatever. That's what we're gonna do. Probably. Real sword fight with real swords. Well, in that case, Prosecutor Blackwell, can I ask you to, you know... I think the judge forgot he's in charge here. The turnabout sword fight. So, Justice Dono's assertion is this. Tenma Taro is the real killer, not Mayor Tenma. According to him, there was a yokai at the scene of the crime. Right. And that yokai, or rather, whoever was impersonating him, killed Alderman Q.
Silence.
Care to explain why Jinxie, being the first to discover the murder, did not see your alleged killer yokai there in the Fox Chamber? What? He's right. She said nothing about Tenma Taro being in the Fox Chamber. Let me enlighten you. That little scamp heard a dying scream right before she opened the chamber door. And your point is? Upon opening the door, she found a freshly skewed... Skewed? No, skewered. You can't say skewed. Skewed is a word, but it means tilted to the side. Freshly skewed murder victim, the alderman, and the homicidal maniac who had killed him, the mayor. No, there must have been someone dressed up like... Ah! Then why does that little scamp claim not to have seen a yokai in the Fox Chamber? Considering her father is accused of murder, surely she would have mentioned any third party that might have been in the room. I don't understand. Why didn't she see Tenma Taro inside the Fox Chamber? There is but one way to find out. Ask Jinxie Tenma whether she saw your killer yokai at the scene of the crime. Uh-oh. The final battle draws nigh. Only one of us will leave here alive. Long has my blade thirsted for blood. At long last it shall be sated. Wait, this is still a trial, right? Show me what you are truly capable of. Justice Dono. Very well then. Both parties no doubt need some time to regroup. So the court will take a 10-minute recess in order to... Ugh. 3 minutes. I'm sorry, but a 3-minute recess. Just so. Plenty of time if your destination of intent is the loo. Is he supposed to be British? Because his objection sounded British, and there have been a couple of things that he said that were vaguely British. He's a British samurai. The loo? You mean the bathroom? Sheesh. At least include enough time to wash our hands. Is he using, like, the old samurai word for bathroom? See that you take no more than 3 minutes. All latecomers will be punished. Yes, sir. I hereby declare a 3-minute recess before the battle begins. Yes, the British samurai, or Bramurai. Just supposed to sound old-timey, yeah. I declare Prosecutor Blackwell wins this round of Simon Says. Doesn't bode well for us if the prosecutor is running the show, does it? Busted out of his shackles. Yeah, what was that all about? Guess they don't make shackles like they used to. Better be careful, Apollo. You've really brought out the samurai in him. Well, I mean, I don't. Okay, I've seen. Have I ever seen something where the translators, like, I've never seen it with something like Degozo. I've seen it with, like, Pion, right? If you have, like, some cutesy character who's like, where they tack some, like, silly syllable onto the end of every sentence. Like, not a real language thing, but a whatever. One of those. Or nya, I guess. You have seen it a bunch, huh? Like, it's tough because there is no good way to, there's no great way to do it, but, like, I absolutely hate, I didn't play it, but I saw some people playing it, World of Final Fantasy, where there's someone who ends all of their sentences with desu, and in the English translation, they just tack the word the in unnecessarily, I think. Like there's Starfire from Teen Titans, where they say the too much. You'd better be the careful, Apollo. You've really brought out the samurai in the hymn. Like that, which is awful. I hate that. That's a terrible way of doing it. But there's no perfect way, unfortunately. Especially after you proved there was a Tenmataro impersonator at the manor. Thou hast brought down... I mean, yeah, you have like Urianger from Final Fantasy, where he just talks completely old-timey all the time. So he just has a distinctive way. You immediately know when it's him because of how he talks. That's the goal of them giving him an unnatural speaking pattern. Alright. What's with that guy in the whole samurai act anyway? Such fine swordsmanship. That is no mere act. Mr. Justice, it's high time I challenge this jailhouse prosecutor to a duel. You want to pull each other's ears? No, wait, let's save the dueling until after we prove your innocence. I suppose it could wait until later. Does anyone remember we're conducting a trial here? Athena, I'm gonna go wash up. Remember what Blackwell said, Apollo. Don't be late. Now then, I believe our next witness is Ms. Jinxie Tenma, a maid at QB Manor. I believe we can proceed now, if the witness is ready, that is. Yeah, the reason that there's no perfect way to do it is because there are different audiences. Some who don't have the context of, like, understanding what was in the original language, and then people who are fluent in it, and then people in between like me who are like, I'm not totally fluent, but I know enough to know when it's not being translated through. Like here with the Degozaru, I don't want them to put Degozaru at the end of all of his sentences, but I would have liked to have known how he really was speaking in the Japanese, which there's no way to do that other than putting it on the screen. Just putting the Japanese right on the screen. Or if it was voiced, that I would like. I wouldn't have mind playing through this with, you know, voices in it and play with the Japanese audio. Like we did for Radiant Historia, where I got to hear Monster Feet saying "nano" at the end of every sentence. Dame nano. Wait, what's Nurari Hyun? What? Nurari Hyun? Leader of the 100 demons. He really does exist. She thinks the judge is a demon? What the hell is Nurari Hyun? I guess that's enough. Yeah, that's also a yokai. Okay. But yeah, I realize that people should not translate things for me. It would be incorrect to translate a game rather than localizing it. I would rather play a translation rather than a localization, but that doesn't mean that they should make direct translations and release them. I recognize that. Nurari Hyun. I will look at this immediately. Oh, it does look a little bit like the judge. A portmanteau of the words nurari, meaning to slip away, and hyun, an onomatopoeia used to describe something floating upwards. Huh, an old man with a gourd-shaped head. I love it. That is one well-polished tray. The witness will show her face in court, or her testimony will be inadmissible. Eek! What is it, my child? Begone, Nurari-hyun, leader of the 100 demons. It's like I said, I should get to criticize it while at the same time going, if it's an actual release, like this is the real official release of the game. Like you take, okay, great example, Danganronpa. The fan translations of Danganronpa, which I haven't played, but I could go play at some point, refer to the ultimates exactly as they do in Japanese. Chokokokyu no whatever detective. And they translate it as super high school level detective. It's like, well, it doesn't flow in English. It's better in the localization where they just say ultimate, even though that meaning is lost. That meaning that, oh, okay, all of these are like high school skills of some kind, like the nurse and the hall monitor and the baseball star. Yeah, it's a difference in translation philosophy. And the other philosophy is right, and mine is wrong, but it doesn't mean that I can't be sad. And would, if I had the choice, pick the more direct translation every time, even though I recognize that they shouldn't release things like that. That a good localization stands on its own, divorced from the original. I think part of that is just me. When we can go off on a tangent real quick, because I was going to actually end the stream probably before we even get into her testimony. Like, as soon as we get to the start of the testimony, that'll be the end of the stream. But my whole idea with liking, I like the idea that when somebody makes something, that they have a particular vision in mind, and that if you see an incomplete version of that it's kind of unfair to them because you didn't get to see what they intended for you to see. Like if you have a game and then it gets remade, right? 10 years later, 20 years later, they remake the game. They fix the bugs, which are great, and they update the art, and they change the translation, and they this and they that I'm always like, well, I want to see the original because I want to see what I think of as the purest form of what did they try to put out. If the remake is closer to their vision, then that's better. But if it's somebody else going, well, I took what I think they should have done and I made it, it's like, well, now that's yours. That's yours. It's not theirs. So in that case, yeah, I see where a good localization isn't really the same thing anymore. There's another, this is great. Go ahead and check out, there's a YouTube channel called Explanation Point, where he does a couple of, like, video essays where he talks about, mostly anime. And he talks about My Hero Academia and how the Japanese Deku, the main character, and the English Deku are, like, almost functionally different people because of the way that the translation was done, and that's okay. That there's even, like, in the way that they speak and in the way that little things in the dialogue have changed, that they are like two different characters. It is like two slightly different stories because of how the localization was done, and that's, you know, that he thinks that that's a good thing. I mean, a good thing in the sense that it's better than giving someone a bad version of the Japanese, like doing too direct a translation and having the message not get across. Instead, just make a slightly different message that you can portray perfectly. There, tangent over. Oh, you think I'm a yokai? Well, I was known as a judicial monster of sorts. Were you? Why is that? The beast of the bar, the demon of due process, if you will. Eek! My charm has no effect. The demon of due process? Not sure I can see that one. They changed the court system to look more plausible in the US. I don't think so. I don't think anything about this is plausible. Now, you little scamp. Yes? I trust you know why you're here. Why doesn't she think he's a demon? Bags. Bags. Oh, that tricksy Tanuki. Try the noodle stand and go enjoy a big bowl of Tanuki tail noodles while you're at it. Everyone's a comedian. I guess that was supposed to be a joke. See, some, because there's just no way. There's no way to make it work. There are many jokes, there's just no way to make it work. That's a good point, right. It wouldn't be as good to go, we're going to give them all their actual old Japanese names, and you'll just have to either look up the pun, or we'll have to have someone go, her name means the same thing as the... Right. That is a great example. It is better for them to put in a funny joke like can disarm instead of putting the Japanese pun as her name and either finding some way to explain it or leaving it unexplained. Yeah, his name is Naruhodo, which means, like, I see, or that's right. I see it now. I understand now. No, I meant your bags, the ones under your eyes. You must have trouble sleeping. Here, this charm will keep Azuki Arai away. Azuki Arai? The yokai that washes Azuki beans? The only thing needing washing will be your father's neck before I take his head clean off. Even that, there's the expression wash your neck? Is that a Japanese expression? And it means the same thing as like watch your back, like beware of danger. I think, unless I'm getting that wrong. So they're like rapid fire making jokes here that are not translated. Azuki Arai often keeps people up at night with the noise he makes washing beans. There's a manga I read where everyone has pun names. There's a character literally called Osana Najimi. That's cute. But if you stick this charm on your forehead, you won't hear him anymore. Translating as friend childhood. Looks like Prosecutor Blackwell got more than he bargained for. They're bad enough alone, but together those two are just plain creepy. Your testimony, if you please, Ms. Tenma. Specifically, whether or not you saw Tenma Taro when you discovered the crime scene. Okay, so we can... Oops. Stop talking. Stop talking. The stream is over. Stop talking. Or actually, we'll wait till we actually start the testimony. How's that? Well, when I opened the door, I saw, yes, now I remember. Yokai, right there in that room. Okay. So there was a yokai at the scene of the crime. Uh-huh, lots of them. Wait, more than one yokai? Did Tenma Taro happen to be among them? I don't know. I just don't know. All I know is the room was swimming in yokai. Kasha, Norikabe, Seto Taisho, eek, they were all there. Well, this is an unexpected turn of events. Zach, hello! We're just about to end, but it is good to see you. We've gone from a flood of yokai, we've gone from no yokai to a flood of them. This is ludicrous. You would have this court listen to this? Delusional little scamp's testimony? Yerk! Your Honor, I believe her memory is simply clouded by fear. But a quick therapy session should ease her mind. With the court's permission, of course. What a fabulous idea. Please proceed, Miss Sykes. You sure you know what you're doing, Athena? She's obviously not herself. The trauma of discovering that crime scene and fear of testifying have her dazed and confused, a regular ball of confusion. But my analytic psychology-based approach should be able to help. We're going to use our powers of listening, and that's going to cure her of her insanity. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell? Shall we let Miss Sykes proceed? It makes no difference to me. Do as you will, but I doubt we shall get any viable testimony. She'd be better served by bearing witness to the sword skills I forged in a distant land. I'll show you. Okay, perfect. We can pick up next time with this. Oops, where's the save? Although that's gonna be annoying, starting the next stream like already on this screen, recapping while her terrified face is staring us down. Very well. The power of Europe. Okay, so that's it for tonight. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. Saturday, more Baba Is You. I haven't wanted to jinx it, but the computer is doing just fine ever since reinstalling Final Fantasy XIV on the D drive. I have no way of knowing whether that means that there's a problem with the solid state drive or if it's just coincidence. Who knows? But it is working fine, so we should Sunday be running our 20 Mentor roulettes. Also, interestingly enough, going into Mentor roulette a couple of times over the past week, I hardly get Shadowbringers stuff at all. I get lots and lots of older stuff, and lots of guild hests too, so that should be a fun adventure. We'll see what comes of it.